I haven't played it. Hey, but we are live. It's Wednesday. It's Xbox Nation. Yeah,
great job.
We're having an intense Mortal Kombat 11 discussion before the show even started. So hopefully you guys are all doing good. I really appreciate you guys coming out. I actually did a little podcast earlier about some of the E3 leaks, which we're going to talk about as a family. So look forward to that. Win 10 fam. Yeah, we've got that. Baby. We've got that to look forward to as well. So, it's a very exciting time because we're closing in on E3, and this is a time when everybody sort of gets excited about what's coming. And I think that that's very important for the gaming industry. Microsoft just released their actual quarterly numbers. So I think, we can discuss those. I didn't have those on there, but those literally just came out. Microsoft, their numbers are up, their revenue and stuff like that. So that's going to be good to talk about as well. But let me introduce the people of the show. First and foremost, we've got Mooch. What's going on, man? How's it going?
Good, buddy. A lot of stuff going on. It's really what's happening. You got all the news that's going on. We've got the numbers that came out as far as the quarterly results from Microsoft. And also, it's a big gaming week, crap. There's tons of games out.
Yeah, like Mortal Kombat 11, which we were kind of talking about just a minute ago. That's super exciting.
I'm so torn on that game, crap, because I'm so excited for it. The game is beautiful. It looks like they revamped things. I like how you have to play the. Next spot, I'll let him have the thunder on that thing he was just saying because I think he was spot on. But realistically speaking, I think that this game has got a lot of potential. But at the same time, do we get past the fact that it's punching the controller?
Well, people are saying they love it, man. I see Def Jam Bam posting stuff. I see a lot. I see a lot of people posting stuff. We're going to talk about it. There is a lot of cool game and stuff to talk about as well. We got Xbot 448. I got it right. What's going on, man? Thanks for
what's up, brother? And according to Twitter, now since Mortal Kombat 11 came out, I will now be known as Noob Cybot 448. Thank you so much, man.
Interesting.
Yo, but what is going on, everybody in the chat? What's going on, panel? Yeah, crap. What day is it again? What?
It's hump day. It's Wednesday.
Yo, let's go. Let's get it on, man. Come on.
Yeah, man. Very excited. We've got the man himself. So Shady is back. What's going on, brother? How's it going?
Well, I'm doing good, man. As everyone knows, I missed last week. I didn't do any podcasts last week. One of my little kitties was sick. And, when that kind of happens, it sucks. I wasn't in the mood to game. I was up all night trying to hand feed her. We had her at the vet all day on IV. Nothing like seeing a turnaround, though.
Stuff, too.
Oh, man. It is. It was extremely stressful. And she ended up pulling through, which is fantastic. She's, running around, snuggling everybody. She's having a good time. But then we get hit with the bill. It's nothing like an out of nowhere $1,100 bill. Really sting, you know what I'm saying? Had to cancel a few pre-orders, to be honest, but I'm sure we'll get back on track. I'm glad to be here, man. Let's get into the games.
I'm glad things have pulled through, man. Nothing quite like those pets, man. They're nothing quite like them. And we also got, making his return again, we've got Noximus, Maximus, Decimus, Meridius. How's it going? You're a fellow New Yorker like Mooch. Yes. What's going on, man? Thank you for joining us here again tonight.
Oh, man, yo, thank you for inviting me, man. I'm glad to be here, brother. You know how we do, man.
Yes.
Topics is off the hook. Yeah, me and the Mooch over here representing NY from the Boogie.
It's about time.
Good old Noximus.
The big state.
Let's bust these topics down, fellas.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to kind of talk about this stuff because, like I said, E3, we got all that stuff. If you guys are just joining us, like this video, share it out. It's going to be a good one. It's probably not going to be too negative. If you're expecting a bunch of negativity, probably not going to get that. Mostly that I saved that for my own stuff, but there's so many other topics to talk about. First thing,
negative recently. I don't
maybe. Maybe that could be a thing. But I want to talk about this alleged E3 leak. So this is sort of has some of the same stuff as the previous one, so you can kind of maybe see that some of this stuff might be legit. Obvious if you just use your head, stuff like Gears 5 gameplay, Gears tactics. That stuff is an obvious one, right? Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Battletoads, Borderlands 3. You know what I mean? Like that stuff, super, super easy to call. The Outer Worlds gameplay, obviously, because why? Phil Spencer already said that Obsidian's going to be there showing off more stuff for that game. So that stuff's there. The other stuff, maybe not as much. Halo's going to be there. Xbox Scarlet teaser with 2 new consoles, holiday 2020. Play Dead's new IP which if you guys don't know who Play Dead are, they do Limbo and Inside, like indie games or whatever. They have a good relationship with Microsoft. So I wouldn't see that. One that was kind of weird was Brink gameplay trailer. I guess maybe this is possibly like a reboot of that Brink game that came out years ago on the Xbox 360.
Weird.
This is the second time I've seen Dino Crisis supposedly make a list, and supposedly there is a Capcom revision coming out, and they're saying they're going to bring this game back. So I don't know. That could be real. Jedi Fallen Order gameplay makes sense, because where else a third party is going to show their stuff out? You know what I mean?
Big, though, man. That's big right there.
They say the Fable Albion collection, which I'm not sure that that's something I buy into. It could be something, but then they just make these games 4K on the Xbox One X anyway. Like,
well, they did. If they remake it from the ground up, though, it would look so much better.
If they remake it with new achievements and stuff, sick, right? I'm all in. If it's just remastered of these versions or whatever, I'm not sure that I'd be in for that. But then it says reboot trailer or reboot teaser, which, look, if you want to get people re-interested in Fable, which the last one was 2010, was Fable 3, and then your next one's not going to be till after 2020, because this says that the collection would be 2020, which means the actual next Fable game maybe wouldn't be till 2021 or later. That's, 10, 11 years in between games.
Though, right? Crap, that's what they did. They did that with the Master Chief Collection. They've done that with, Gears, right? We got the Ultimate Edition before we got Gears 4. This is something that they seem to do. It's kind of fan service in one way, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's fan service, but it's also a way to get people reintroduced to the series, because like I said, 10, 11 years, that's a long time. That is a very long time for games. You know what I mean? Like when you think of how these games come along or whatever, that is an extremely long time. People realistically have to be reintroduced to this franchise. It's like 10 years is a long time. If you're 37, you were 27. If you're 27, you were 17. If you're 17, you were 10. Right. So you have to keep in mind that that's the type of thing that happens here. And I think that does make sense, but it would only make sense if they totally redo those games. And I think that would be pretty kick-ass. To be honest with you, I'd be ecstatic if that happened, because the Fable games are some of my all-time favorite ones.
I mean, if they have it, I believe like the source coding for the actual game, like the AI and choices like that would stay the same. And what they would do is do a complete like graphic overhaul. If they did that, I mean, because those games are still good to this day. The only thing that gets me to not play like the original Fable, even though it's in a 4K resolution, and I know a lot of people out there, they're kind of like resolution, through the magnifying glass and all that stuff, but resolution isn't the end all be all. If you can put in better textures, higher polygon characters, stuff like that, and really flesh out the world, it would look incredible, man. Yeah,
like here's the thing. I like the Fable. They did Fable Anniversary on the 360, and I love that. I played that game even though the Xbox One was out. I played through it and beat it on the 360. The problem with Fable 1 is the loading. There's a loading screen every time you leave an area. So maybe they could fix that or something if they totally like remade it, and I think that would be cool. So then it goes on to stuff like Forza Horizon 4 DLC, Sea of Thieves DLC. Here's my thing. Those two things really much more for Inside Xbox, not for E3 kind of announcement. New studio acquisition. Hopefully it's more than one. I feel like they still are a few away from being elite. You need like some AAA studio acquirements, you know what I mean? Like big ones. Not that the In Exile ones are like horrible, but I think you need more along the lines of Obsidian as opposed to the In Exile or the Compulsion games. Then it says they're going to do a Bleeding Edge gameplay trailer, which is Ninja Theory's new game, and it says holiday 2020 release. A new Rare IP teaser, which supposedly Rare is making another multiplayer game. So that would be Rare's second.
As long as they have the story in there in the beginning, I am down to see what it is.
I said that this afternoon, Xbot. I said, you know what? I said, see if these would have been so much better if they had a 4 or 5 hour campaign that teaches you how to play while having fun with the campaign. You know what I mean?
Dude, and we're 6 days away for the massive update to Sea of Thieves that's going to put in a lot of story elements and stuff like that. I can't wait for that. So
and fishing. So there's that as well.
Oh yeah, fishing and cooking too.
Yeah. So there's. I mean, those things seem like, again, and I like Sea of Thieves, and this content seems like it's going to be great. But a lot of this content seems like maybe it should have been there in the first place.
Yeah,
Would be nice. Would have been real nice.
Point.
I just wish that the combat wasn't so hollow. Man, the sword fighting and the shooting to me is just not doing it.
I agree, Shady.
Yeah.
The combo system, man.
The cannons feel great when you're shooting the ships with the cannons, but hand to hand with the sword and the gun, man, it's bad. Just hollow feeling.
I mean, but it should have had a story right from Jump Street, even along that gameplay. You know what I mean? If for the people who like it, they would have enjoyed it much more. But
yeah, like here's the thing: I like the game. I love the game. I think it's great. I agree. It's almost like the hit boxes aren't there. It's like you're swinging at nothing, kind of hoping to connect. You know what I mean with the sword fighting. So I do sort of wish that was exactly right. That's a really smart way to put it. But I do like the game, and these new additions do make it seem like it's cool. So I would hope that I just feel like with Sea of Thieves, they were rushed a little bit. Microsoft hadn't had anything. People were complaining they wanted games. Microsoft, from what I understand, didn't really believe in the game very much.
Right.
Until that last beta when everybody was playing it on Twitch and stuff like that. Then they believed in it because we talked to Craig Duncan, Mooch, and he seemed to indicate that, one of the reasons it didn't get a custom console or a collector's edition was because it wasn't something Microsoft fully believed in until last minute. Yeah. And, that's a little bit unfortunate.
I mean, the thing about Sea of Thieves, and it's kind of, I feel like everybody else here, I don't have a lot to add. I feel like I saw this new DLC and I said, you know what? That's what we've been waiting for. And the same thing that kind of is happening right before our very eyes right now with Anthem is kind of what I feel like with Sea of Thieves. Now, Sea of Thieves, for the people who really stick up in defense, Sea of Thieves, it gets this rebirth because it has Game Pass. But if there was no Game Pass, you stop and you say, would these DLCs bring people back, especially with all these games that, like this week alone, right? You've got Mortal Kombat, which people are just drooling over. And then you've got Days Gone coming at the end of the week. So you've got games that are coming out that are new, refreshing. People like to see these new titles coming out on different systems, or one's a multi-plat. And then you got this DLC, and the DLC just seems like it's just like a day late and $1 short. It doesn't mean that you won't go back and enjoy it. I actually play a lot of Sea of Thieves with the family. It is a game that we like to play. But realistically, if it wasn't this situation or this scenario for me, Crap, I would check it out for the due diligence of YouTube and doing videos. But I can't say that I would go back if it wasn't for the family and put multiple hours into this game. It kind of feels like been there, done that.
But see, that's the best thing about Game Pass, though. You guys know I didn't buy Sea of Thieves. Like I took it with the Game Pass. I played it day one with Game Pass, and for people who get to play the game through Game Pass, I think a lot of us are a lot more excited for this update.
I wouldn't exactly. So wait, so what you're saying though, Xbot, is people who are playing it through Game Pass are more excited than people who bought it.
Well, we didn't.
I'm not buying that one.
We didn't invest the $60 into the game either. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
in a service.
You still get the same stuff though. I mean, you're not paying for any of this stuff anyway.
Right.
Like the updates, it's all free. So I think that's cool. You know what I mean?
What I'm saying
is very cool.
For people out there who really were disappointed at the content and stuff like that, especially if they shelled out the money. People who are playing the game through Game Pass, we're a little bit, I don't know how you say, a little bit lighter per se, because we didn't shell out the money for the game. We're getting the game plus so many others.
So you're saying nanny boo boo, I didn't pay $60 and I'm getting.
Yeah, I feel for the gamers out there who bought the game. I hope they're excited for what's coming, because I believe, like Mooch said, this is what we've been waiting for, and this is what I've been waiting for, and I've gone on record stating, I'm like, you know what? I would love to go in. I just got a 4K television because of my brother Yobi out there.
Yobi,
good guy, great guy. Yes.
But, I went in and checked out the graphics real quick, but I didn't go in and play it because I'm waiting for this update. I'm waiting for that story behind everything.
Well, here's the thing: does anybody know how long this story runs? Is it 4 hours? Is it 2 hours?
No idea.
10 hours?
No idea, brother.
Well, I mean, it's funny, and don't get me wrong, everyone, the industry's changed, but like these are things we used to talk about. Pardon me, back in the day, we'd be like, oh my God, DLC that's only an hour, DLC that's only 2 hours, or a game that's only 4 hours. Now a game, we don't really talk about that anymore. And it's like, I see a lot of people excited. I'm being one of them. I'm definitely going to check out this new DLC, but like, it looks like it's bringing I'm going to use the word single player campaign element to the game, right? Is that what you guys are getting, that same vibe? Which is cool. Yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I feel like this may be 2 hours and maybe just more riddles to solve. You know what I mean? What is it that we're getting in this DLC? I watched the trailer, but it didn't really tell me what I would be doing. It gave like instances.
They expanded on the riddles you're going to do. Like you're looking up in the stars for constellations and stuff. You are actually aligning your map to different parts in the world. Like they are making more puzzles, if you want to call them that. So you're not doing just the same take 5 steps from the post on the south of the island and start digging there kind of puzzles. So there's more to that. I don't expect that story to be gigantic, cinematic, if you will.
Right.
I expect a lot of kind of follow Captain Stew Nuts as he talks, if you will. I really do. I think that's what's
makes another appearance. Yeah.
So you're gonna have to be listening to the dialogue outside of your party, usually hooting and hollering. But I'm gonna go back and check it out. The arena mode is gonna hit pretty soon as well, which is a condensed version of the whole game. So it's just kind of Fast and Furious Sea and Thieves, if you want to even call it that, as opposed to sailing from island to island for 15 minutes at a time, which is too slow for me. So the arena might get me back in. The campaign stuff with friends might get me back in. It doesn't have to last too much more than a few hours, like 4 or 5, really. I think it depends on how you're going to treat it, I think, and how good or how quick you are at solving these little riddles that they throw at you. But I could see more content like this starting to come out in the future as well.
Yeah, so quest campaigns. Tall Tales looks like a new way to play Sea of Thieves. They showed a few minutes from Shores of Gold, the first Tall Tale. You get to see what looked like a linear quest to a temple laden with traps and voyages along course of constellations. Quest content has been limited, but now it looks like it's sort of a campaign. A broader campaign is a big addition to the game. There's obviously the arena and also hunting, fishing, harpoons, all that kind of good stuff. So those of you that have been looking for like meatier content, I think this is your chance, and this is your, this is what you've been looking for. I think this is what a lot of people have been looking for if you are an Xbox fan or a fan of Sea of Thieves, and it's very exciting to be able to kind of jump back in and see this kind of
launch, Crap?
It looks like it's going to be launching here April
30th.
April 30th. Yep, April 30th.
It's free, right? It's free.
Yeah, no, everything's completely free.
Oh,
yes. So there is that to look forward to as well. Also, so like I said, the new rare IP, Bleeding Edge, which is the new Ninja Theory IP. Here's where it falls apart for me a bit. Dead Rising 5, which after Dead Rising 4, I don't really, and that studio's closed, Capcom Vancouver. Yeah. So I don't know who the hell would even make that. And it's only been 3 years since the last one. So I call kind of BS on that. Recore 2. Like, Mooch, who the hell's asking for Recore 2? Something.
Delilah HD.
Delilah is, and guess what, though, Crab? If everybody wants to go back and remember, I said I wouldn't mind a Recore 2 if you threw some cash at it. Let's be honest for a minute here, everybody. You've got a great protagonist, a great main story. Love the sidekicks. Okay? I really like the mechanics. The jump mechanic is fantastic. How about this? There was no background. The story was kind of blah after you got past the initial story of the protagonist and was it her father, I believe, or whatever the case may be, that she was out there collecting those orbs for. It just fell flat. But Crap, you throw
were bland too.
Yeah, it was a bland background. There was no true graphic artist involved. You throw some money at this thing, put more story into it. I'm telling you right now, you've got a futuristic.
It has potential. Yeah.
It's a futuristic Shadow of the Tomb Raider, for God's sake.
I think it does too much. You're right, man. And like of all the IP that Microsoft has to do a sequel to, I could see Recore being almost a guaranteed thing just because of the female lead role. Like in today's climate of video games, they are getting a huge push, which is fine. But Microsoft has, the Chief and Gears of War with Marcus Phoenix and stuff like that. A lot of burly dudes. They need to have a couple ladies under their belt. That's rough. But a couple ladies, if you will. And
wow, Shady.
It works. Wow, hey, I didn't mean to. It came out. But yeah, it works. And I think that franchise is almost a guaranteed one just because of that and the fact that it is so much easy to expand on what they've already delivered.
Shady, you make a lot of sense on that. And when you look at it, you're right, man. You look at kind of like the mascots throughout. Even, throughout all, you go between Sony, you go, Sony, Xbox, even to a certain extent Nintendo, but that's more of a cartoony side of things. But, dude, you're right. I can see Xbox wanting to have that major female protagonist that a lot of people can kind of like really look at and be like, oh damn, like Xbox is
well, I don't think you necessarily have to say that you have to write for a male or female protagonist. I think if you just make the story the way that the story is supposed to be written in this case it's Jewel, and it was done well. And
it's not gender specific. I don't mean to say that. Like it
yeah,
was
I mean,
needed to,
you know what I mean.
I thought you made
was,
sense, brother.
Yeah, just because it was, and she is female. I think that it would just help for them to continue with that because they don't have one. Whereas Sony does have Aloy and Ellie. So like the Xbox is kind of lacking a little bit.
Gears is going to Kate.
They have brought her up. Yeah, that's right.
You know,
right.
I mean, there's
we could be seeing Mrs. Chief. We don't know.
You never know.
That leg is very skinny, Xbot. I'm telling you, in that Halo trailer,
you got a 7'3".
You never know, Crap.
Female.
Chief could have been doing P90X. You never know.
Oh,
yeah, you're not buying a
Chief's working out, right? But you know, I mean, realistically, I think that Recore 2 is. I don't necessarily. I wouldn't bank on that being at E3, but I think that it's. If
they're high on the IP,
you throw the money at it, Crap.
That.
Why not? I mean, realistically, you've played enough of it. The jumping mechanic, the shooting mechanics were good. The story wasn't good as it progressed. The initial idea concept
finding cores was a pain in the butt, right?
Yeah,
like
it was.
If they could have just made that an action adventure game, sort of like Tomb Raider-esque or something, I think it would have been great. Here's the thing. Just looking at new Xbox IP that they own this generation, there's not a whole lot to choose from to make a sequel from because they don't own Sunset Overdrive. They don't own Rise. So the only new IP that they own that they've released this gen are Recore, Quantum Break, and Sea of Thieves.
Do they have Ori? Do they own Ori?
No, I don't think they own Ori. I think they might own publishing rights. But yeah, so that's basically it. There's rumor that Ori could go to Nintendo Switch as well, like the first one. Like, I don't really care,
much. But I was just reading Dingo Empire in the chat here. He goes, Recore 2, really? I think Crackdown is a similar game, but much better. Here's my thing. Recore 2, if it is or ever is to become a sequel for Microsoft, they really can't show that game until they're really ready. That I got to say one thing, Crap. That's not something you can just throw out there willy-nilly and go, Recore 2.
They needed a different engine too, by the way. They have to really showcase what that game can do.
Exactly. This game's got to be shown with like the finest of the fine. They have to show this game not done, but maybe maybe 8 months out. Like, because here's the reason I say that. Usually I say show things further out. You just put Recore on stage, Crap, with not a great presence. People are going to make the same sound effects they made when you brought it up as a topic. They're going to go, nah, get out of here. I don't want nothing to do with that. That didn't sit well with me. You know what I mean? So this has got to really have their best foot forward for that. But they're sleeping on an absolute gold mine. I mean, Shady gave you 5 good characteristics of why you'd want to invest in it. And the foundation's already there. So, in Recore, whether you liked it or not, it's already a household name as far as gamers know. Even if people say, I hated it, they still know what it is.
Yeah.
So if you
I liked
build
it for
on
the first few hours, but once they started making you search for cores that you just couldn't find, right? Or sometimes I'd hit this loading glitch. You know what I mean? Like that Unity engine, I don't think was a good choice for that game.
The Unity engine is horrible to begin with, and I wish they would just drop that. But when Recore came out, I went in on the graphics or lack thereof, a lot of things with the shadows, having the stairs and stuff like that in the shadows. But one thing I always said, and I will say it to this day because it's absolutely true, the dungeon crawling and the platforming in that game are incredibly addicting, man. They're freaking great.
I always show this one part of me playing Recore in this dungeon Xbot where I'm jumping in that blue dungeon, right? And I'm jumping all around, and it's just one of those things. People always tell me that it's annoying to watch me play that part. But I always have a good time with it. Okay, so back to this list. They say Recore 2 trailer, Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay, which makes sense because again, there's no other third-party platform holder here. They say a new CD Projekt Red IP teaser, which I call BS on. Age of Empires 4 gameplay trailer, Splinter Cell reboot trailer for 2020, Halo Infinite trailer, and so all that's it, right? That's the supposed E3. Now, let me ask you guys this. Is this a good enough E3 to be invested long-term in more Xboxes? Like they're going to show off 2 new Xboxes.
How many new IPs?
The only 2 new IPs in here is Bleeding Edge, the Ninja Theory one, and the new Rare IP multiplayer game.
No. I mean, no. That's first of all, I don't think that leak that came out is accurate.
I don't buy this, by the way. I'm saying
I don't
obvious.
think that's right.
It's obvious stuff like Gears, Halo, Ori 2, Battletoads. This is stuff that will 100% be there, right? Like that.
Right.
That stuff will 100% be there. You'll see a big third party presence there. Outer Worlds will 100% be there. They're gonna announce a new studio or two. You know, this stuff will all be there. Borderlands 3 possibility, whatever. But I do feel like that this would be a very disappointing showcase, and then to have 2 new consoles showed as well. You know, because first of all, this list is incredibly low compared to last year. What did they show? Like 40 something games last year.
Yeah. I doubt this is a full leak if it's true at all.
Right.
And I mean, while there isn't a lot of new there, let's keep in mind that Sony's quote unquote bangers. They've had Horizon Zero Dawn, that's new, but the big ones, Spider-Man is anything but new, God of War is anything but new, Last of Us isn't new. They've just improved massively on their past iterations, and the fans love that. So if Halo Infinite and Gears 5 follow suit and really blow us away,
I agree.
I don't think it matters if it's new or not. Like, new is open-ended, really. The new doesn't always mean good. We have had a lot of new IP as Xbox fans this generation, and Shady, they didn't resonate with everybody.
Take what you're saying, and I'll add to that. But I'm going to add a bit of concern. I agree with everything you said, actually, and I was thinking that. My only concern, I think a lot of Xbox fans are concerned too, is I know, and you know, and I think everybody in this panel listening to the show is well aware that Halo Infinite is most likely going to knock everyone's socks off. It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
But crap, and we'll also say the same for Gears.
Yes.
But what I'm concerned as an Xbox fan, I'm concerned that they are going to rest on their laurels and say Halo and Gears are so damn good that's all we needed to show you and Ninja Theory's little leak. You know what I mean?
Check this out.
There's another E3 before the next gen launches where they can start showing all these studios work. It's still too early now to show that, but next year, man.
Xbox, before you start saying thank you have to understand, if they're waiting until next E3 to show you, that means you're still 18 months out from those games.
And don't announce hardware then. If you're going to do that and say that you got next E3, don't announce hardware this E3.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? And I'll tell you this, if those 3 games, the ones that you just mentioned, the new IP from Ninja Theory and Gears and Halo, even if they are phenomenal, which I'm going to sit here and I'm going to say, I want to wait and see. I want to see what they're going to show. I'm not excited for it because there's no reason to be excited for anything that Microsoft is doing currently, at least for me. I'm intrigued because they're 2 franchises that I love, so let's see. But even if they are knock your socks off good, I'm still playing them on the X, and I'm not buying new hardware for it.
Hey, you know, that's a good point because Gears 5, supposedly 4K 60, both single player and multiplayer on the X. So you can't, and the way that they're scaling this stuff, you're likely going to get 4K 60 next gen quote unquote games on the X as well for a while anyway. And so I think that's a very smart thing. Like we had Luke on the show last week, and Mooch asked her, well, which one would you get, a next Xbox or the PlayStation 5? And she said PlayStation 5. And the reason why is because you know that they're going to have games only for the PlayStation 5, where I think Microsoft is going to stick with the current batch of hardware as well as I think it's all going to play the same stuff.
Crap, I've been touting that from the beginning that they're going to do it. I don't have any problem with it.
I know that's cool. I'm like I'm not knocking your opinion. I'm just saying for me,
I'm going to say. Well, with this whole thing, if this is true, if it's true, which I'm not going to say here or there whether or not I think it's true. I think it's you got to look at the overall quality of the show as well. I mean, you're talking about the games, but even a Splinter Cell reboot and like what are they showing this running on as well? Because like if they're using the new hardware to showcase all of this, and I know they said a teaser, but they've done stuff like that before where they're, you know, if the game's going to run on the new hardware as well, you might as well show whatever you're showing running on the premium spec. And if they do all that and you know the games really kind of blow you away, I think it would be a quality show.
Saying this, Xbot, I've been saying this since the beginning of me doing YouTube, right? 2013. Anything they're showing as far as, and I said this remember when Sony had all the multi-plats? And everybody used to be like, but Mooch, you don't understand. Sony's got all these multi-plats. And they're on both consoles. So either side doesn't care. Wherever you're going to buy, you're going to be able to play those games. The other thing is, your answer back to me is probably, but Mooch, it's going to look better on the X. Or in this case, the Anaconda. You're right. But let's go back real quick to when Anthem was being shown on the Microsoft stage, and it said shown on Xbox, right, or whatever in game. That what they showed you and what they showed us wasn't actually the actual game we got. You know what I mean? It was definitely very close.
I mean, it was, but that was all of the game.
You know what I mean? What I'm trying to say is it's the Industrial Light and Magic show. It's your best foot forward. They put those clips out there. It always looks phenomenal. Whether it's a little bit of CGI, a little bit of PC, a little bit of Xbox One Anaconda, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know what I mean? It's a little bit of everything up there on stage to just give you the best show because they're selling their product.
Dude, if I get like the Fable trilogy rebuilt graphically from the ground up, I get a teaser for the next Fable. I get a Splinter Cell reboot. I get Halo Infinite. I get Gears gameplay.
Yeah.
I get all that in a show plus more. Everything else that Crap said, I'm good to go, man.
Well, here's the only thing in Xbox. Don't get me wrong. I'll also agree with Crap. There's nothing wrong with what you just said. That is riveting. It's exciting. However, the next year when they go to show so Halo's off Halo come out next year, but you know what I'm trying to say? If they're showing Halo already, we're already going to be amped. So Halo's shown. Gears is coming out this year. Your Fable reboot will be out within, a year and a half.
Say about
what I'm saying to you is,
if this is true, 2021.
Right. So what I'm saying is, though, why not show games that are going to come out in 2020, 2021, 2022? Show a couple of games.
I have gone on record saying that they should do that. And
absolutely.
To this day, I'm not going to change that. But from what I've heard, if this is real, and of course, I'm not feeling jaded with my Xbox. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, I know Knox is not happy with where they've gone the last couple of years. And we know, Crap's not happy with what's going on the last couple of years as well.
This is my thing, Bot, right? I'm sorry to cut you off, brother. This is my thing, right? Like, multiplats are always going to be available, like Mooch said, on everything, right? Yes, like right now, the X has the advantage, right? Multiplats look slightly better on the X. Because let's be honest, they aren't leaps and bounds over the Pro. They do look better. Nonetheless, they're better, right? Well,
they load faster. They run smoother.
Yes, they perform slightly better and look slightly better. Not enough, in my opinion, right? For me anyway, if I start weighing my options, right, I can still get those on the Pro and enjoy them just as well, and they're going to look just as awesome, right?
With that controller, though, my God.
I'm just saying I can, right?
I ordered this thing that lets you use your Xbox.
Yeah, you did order that. Did you get it in?
I don't want to spend more money to use a good controller on the PlayStation.
I hear you, but $60 isn't too bad in my opinion, and that's what that costs.
The price of a controller.
The Cronus Max is pretty cool.
Yeah, so I am using that, but
my thing is if I'm gonna get Sony's exclusive content, right, on that, which I like better than what Microsoft is offering currently, then I'm gonna stick with that, right, and just wait and see with Microsoft, because I'm not being inspired to purchase new hardware just to get slightly better looking multiplats. You know what I'm saying?
And see, Knox, and the thing is, because we've talked about this plenty of times on different shows. There is nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm not saying
no. Well, I want to let you know.
You guys always follow that up. Everybody always follows. There's nothing wrong with that. I know there's nothing wrong with that.
All right, so I can also express that I would be hyped for this, and there's nothing wrong with that either.
Absolutely, there is not, brother. That's what I'm saying.
I like the back and forth. You guys are kicking ass. Over 500 watching. Please like it. Let's get up over 100. Let me say this though, because I think it was you, Shady, who mentioned they have next year. They can do stuff as well. I think Sony's going to be back at E3 next year, though, showing off a boatload of new games for their PS5. I think that would be a bad time to actually save any kind. If you want to get a jump on Sony, announce your new hardware with future glimpses of at least a few new IP, right? Shanghai, the way they did that back in 2013, that little trailer. Yeah, get people excited. I think that would do wonders for the morale of a lot of the Xbox fans. I know a lot of people are afraid to admit that they're down a little bit, but I understand it, that people are. And it's I don't know, no matter how many times I explain, I'm not hating on Xbox. I don't hate Xbox. I just want, before Phil gets up there and tries to sell me new hardware, sell me on some new software, right? Because I know Halo and Gears and Forza are great, and Fable. I know those are going to be great. Okay, I get that, but give me something in addition to
we're
that.
talking megaton great, man. Like you're saying great with Halo and Gears.
Well, again, Xbox
megaton great.
And it's ironic. I know irony just kind of strikes in whenever it can, right? So this is the year that you see a lot of Xbox fans, just saying, "Hey, show me new IP, show me more games," and everyone's like, "But this is the year Halo is going to be shown." Yeah. We know Halo is going to be great, and we know Halo is going to come every 3 to 5 years. We know that. You know that for Gears, right?
I know people were pretty pissed. There were a lot of people out there pretty pissed about Halo 5. So it will be good to see.
They do
You're
need to
missing the point, though.
This is the longest wait we've ever had for Halo. Ever.
Exactly. And not just that, but you say they're
Even
pissed. They weren't
Halo
pissed.
3 and Halo 4.
Xbox, they weren't pissed the year before Halo 5 came out, is my point. What I'm saying to you is that, like, you're hyping, I'm hyping the same thing. I'm excited for Infinite. But what I'm trying to say to you is that you have to look past we know Halo's coming. You know Uncharted 5's coming, okay? That's not, nobody, I don't know anybody. I have seen a lot of people on Twitter, too. They're like, I love PlayStation. They're like, I can't wait for Uncharted 5. Like, they know that's coming, right? They know those
for sure.
But they still get excited when they show it.
They're done with Drake. They're done with Drake's story, Shady.
But I guess what I'm trying to do here, and I guess I'm just not getting my point across. Is
no, you are. I'm thick-headed Italian, man.
I am too. I hear you. So what I'm trying to say to you is, Xbox, don't take any of that enthusiasm away from your Halo.
Oh, I'm not.
I'm right there with you. But look past that for a second. What I'm saying is we need to see new creative IPs come out of Xbox, and they have to stop being scared to show them. Xbox, you understand, Halo and Gears are going to be amazing. I get it. I'm right there, day one, and I'm not doing Game Pass. I'm buying it. It's just, it is what it is. I'm just trying to say to you that we need to see more than that. And for me personally, this is a mooch problem. All right, this is a me problem. I've told Crap this. All the audience knows this. I'm not a Fable fan. Now, they may make the new Fable that dark and really kind of like that Harry Potter grew, like that as the
Harry Potter at night. Like,
right. If that's what they turn that into, and every time I say that, Fable fans are like, "No, you don't know anything about Fable." And it's like, all right, fine, I don't. But my point is that I never was interested in Fable. But so when I hear that Fable may be coming, I go, for me, that's a me thing.
Yeah.
Crap was right with PlayStation coming back next year big. They're going to come back big next year. E3 will be relevant again, and they'll have a lot of new stuff to show. So, like, if they're showing new stuff, and we've already seen all of our new stuff this year, would you want to see the same stuff again from Xbox next year?
Well, it would be another year further, so I would assume that they have some newer stuff to talk about. I got to pay some bills real quick. Stop Six Stock says, I've been with Xbox since the beginning. I mean, super Xbox supporter, but if they don't have anything new besides Gears and Halo, I'm getting a PS5. I'm good with my X. Why have a Lambo with no wheels? And I mean, I can't really argue with that.
That's crazy. Like, Sony is literally saying we're making less games going forward. Meanwhile, Xbox is buying half a dozen studios plus, and Sony isn't announcing new IP anywhere. They're relying on old, tried, tested, and true IP that they are improving on. So what is the mentality of I need to go Sony because if I don't, I just don't understand. Sony's
here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. I understand it, but I also think that there's a little bit of interpretation of what Sean Layden said. Yeah. Plus, if you look at this, they're ending this generation with 4 new IP. Days Gone is a new IP. Death Stranding is a new IP.
Days Gone, they don't own though. They don't own Days Gone.
Yeah, they do.
Are they ending this?
Yeah, they do.
I think they just gave them a bunch of money to work with them.
The studio is
that's Sony Bend.
That's Sony Bend, bro.
Oh, sorry, Days. I'm thinking of the Kojima game. My bad.
Yeah. They don't own that. They don't own that. But they're still closing with those new, and also Dreams. I'm not big on that game.
We don't know if they're closing with those, though, man. We don't know yet.
I have a feeling they're going to be on.
Well, you have a feeling. So
that's what they've been putting that out there, but they've been showing these games.
They also put out pictures of Forza and said that was their race.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but they announced these for PS4. Those are
announced these at E3 for PS4. You got to assume they're showing up, bro.
Yeah,
even I said that what they showed of The Last of Us and shit was PS5 stuff. I still stand by that.
Dude, yeah, you were at the show, man. We did that live reaction together,
and I still stand by those.
I'm like, yo, that's PS5 right there.
But they are saying that they're supposed to come off of PS4. So
when if they say that,
out with those.
All right, now Knox, if they say that, right, and it doesn't happen, what kind of effect would that have on you?
If it doesn't happen, well,
if it doesn't happen,
don't
if it doesn't come out until the PS5, even though say that they came out with a PS4 and a PS5 version and kind of launched them at the same time or whatever, but it doesn't come out before the new series of hardware, would that have any effect on you?
Not really if they're going to cross over.
I got
like a Zelda situation.
Well,
let me. Sony's going to announce those games are getting delayed.
Oh,
anyway.
Predator!
Oh,
I've been here for
Fred.
10 minutes, by the way.
What's going on? Oh,
Yeah,
damn, Predator.
I've been listening to y'all rant and rave for a little
Well,
bit.
what do you think, Fred?
hucksters.
Us hucksters. We learned from watching Phil.
I will say this. I think Microsoft is in a great position for this E3 to bring out the big guns. Whether they do it or not is a different story.
They should,
given their past history, how they kind of like to hide and not talk about things and keep things under the wraps for a little while. If y'all, I think you guys were kind of talking about this leak a little bit. Like, I don't know if that's true or not. And we get caught up in E3 shit around this time every year.
Love it, man.
We love it, right? And then some of it never happens, and some of it does. It's like maybe. So like the leaks will start rolling out here in the next couple of weeks because there's nothing coming out except for Rage and Days Gone and that kind of shit. But like, I think with E3, with them being the only dick at the party, like they have to come out and actually, pull it out, you know what I'm saying, and show it. So like, because I just think that they have the perfect opportunity to even actually branch out and do something a little different and go out to these other studios that are, that usually are on PlayStation stage. They should be reaching out to them and like, look, we're here. So if you want to show your game, here's a perfect opportunity. Put it on our stage, not just multi-plats, but they have to bring out some new IPs and something that we've been asking for a while. Like I've listened to some podcasts and people think like two new IPs I think they need to actually not just show two IPs, but talk about other brand new IPs as well. Yeah, so not give us a roadmap, because like we haven't had that in a while. And I've said this before on other podcasts, all that shit they announced in 2013, all of it, like just go back to every game they talked about that was in, even their double A's and shit like that. All those games are out. They've come out, this generation. Particularly this year, we've got our Cuphead, we've got our Crackdown, we've got our Below, we've got what's the other game? Fucking whatever, pick one. Like all those games have come out, and they have not announced a new IP since then.
I think, well, see, Pred, I think everything you said is spot on. The only thing I would say I kind of think is a conflict is when you said show two and then speak to the others. E3 is just it's not story time. They don't say reach underneath your seat and grab your warm milk. We got to see the games. You know what I mean? So they've got to actually show at least two. Now, if you say if you want to see more, I'll back that up. But I don't want to hear about them. I want to see something.
I feel like one of the two can't be that new rare IP. I'm sorry, a multiplayer only that like shows something else besides that. If they show the Ninja Theory thing and it's great, awesome, but I think you need something else new. And here's the thing. I pointed this out when I talked about this a little bit earlier today. In 2017, Phil Spencer goes, we just signed deals and we're not going to show anything right now because these games aren't going to come out for 2.5, 3 years. Well, this is the 2-year mark. This E3, like, why haven't they shown us anything? Like, what was he talking? Was he talking out of his ass? Like, what's the deal? This was before they bought these new studios and stuff. So they had to have stuff in line and ready to go. This would be the year that we see some of that stuff. Has that stuff just not leaked? Do we not know what's coming? Because here's the thing with Phil Spencer. While I think he's helped a lot, he's also been a little bit of back and forth where earlier in the gen, he was in it to win it, right? He said that. He was also, Xbox One was the place to play, and it was also he wanted Xbox One owners to feel like first-class citizens and a lot of that stuff, right? So
you want me to feel like a first-class citizen? How about you get me some exclusive content? And I know that you guys might bitch and say, well, that excuse that Phil uses to connive and snake oil salesman people into believing that they're doing us a favor by not having exclusive content for their third-party games. At least do that shit, but you're not even doing that.
Yeah, bro. Well, I feel like he said that.
The competition is doing it. So
we said it a while ago, Crap. We said this almost 2 years ago. I mean, I know a lot of people are new to the channel and listening now, But we said a while ago, we said, Phil, when you're not getting exclusive content, Sony is.
Yeah.
So the whole, if we all play together, we all win. That's a great slogan. If we're all doing it.
Yeah.
But the problem is the other two guys aren't.
No.
You know, and Epic Games certainly isn't.
That's Microsoft saving that cheddar.
That's the whole thing. I dig his slogan. I like it, but he sold about 6 bumper stickers. No one's buying it.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. You know, like you said, by him not getting exclusive content, which I think is archaic, but it's a business, right? You got to make your content, your people that buy your platform feel special, no matter what your platform is. You know, you got to, by him not doing that, it's actually hurting us because other people are going to get that and lock that up. Whenever we all are like, Microsoft needs marketing rights. That's a big argument, right, Mooch? And everybody else. But when they do get they do get marketing rights, their marketing rights are a slogan at the end and getting badmouthed by the developer.
Yeah.
Right?
Like that this whole generation.
Actually,
They're not even like,
when we're talking about exclusive,
like,
exclusive stuff, do you guys like it because you have it and others don't, or do you just like it because it's generally more content on top of what you have? Is that what it is? Like, which one is it?
What I'm saying is, if your competition is getting extra content, don't get your customer base some extra content too. I mean, let's say you can make appealing ways to do this. I wish they abolished it altogether, but hey, when in Rome, right? So
I know, but I'm like, as an Xbox fan that's saying they started doing it, would you like it?
I'm paying the same price, so I want extra stuff.
Yeah, do you like it because you have stuff that other gamers don't have access to, or do you like it because it's just more content?
I think it's an issue of the fact that the competitor is doing it and they're not.
Your competitor is offering more content of a game that you're interested or like for the same price. Why am I get it over there? You know, it's got more shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a no-brainer to me. If I have both consoles, which I do, I have every console. So yeah, I'm gonna get it over there. I got Destiny on PlayStation. That's why I played most of Destiny 1.
Really?
They had extra shit.
Is that where your friends were playing too, or were you playing with?
My friends were also playing. A lot of my friends.
That's a big one. Like for me, I'd rather play games on the console or the brand that my real world friends are playing on. The controller that's the most comfortable. The security of online, the sales, like all that kind of stuff really goes into why I choose the brand that I choose more than just exclusive content alone. Exclusive stuff is nice, don't get me wrong, but it's really, really a small percentage of the overall gaming world. And, I like it when I get it, but I'm not hanging anyone without it.
That's awesome, Shady. You feel that's cool, but I'm just saying, listen, if I'm giving you for $10 5 rings, but I'm giving Xbox 4 rings for the $10, right? That don't make no sense, right? Like he's losing out. He's gonna come and go while you're giving him an extra ring.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. No doubt.
But one of the things when it comes to this exclusive content and everything that people have been arguing about for so long, ever since like Play Anywhere, ever since certain titles have gone to the PC and whatnot. Like, you guys also got to realize that at one point in time, Microsoft was seriously thinking about doing away with Xbox. And this is one of the things that actually makes sure that Xbox fans, console fans, still have a console and have more consoles to look forward to. So you might want that exclusive content, but I am grateful that they came up with something that will keep my preferred platform going. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, hold on. I got to pay some bills. Gamer O'Malley says Xbox sales dropped 33%. Are we still waiting till E3? Stop Six Doc says, I'm just saying, how many games have made Xbox owners say, I wish we had games that looked like that? And I think they're right. TLR9 says, as an Xbox fan, I just rant to feel appreciated with all the cash I'm dropping. I agree, man. You know, it's like we spend a lot of money and people just act like we don't have the right to request some new IP to be shown off.
Absolutely.
And it's just, that is a little bit sad. I do think that Xbox has a high upside. Like they do have these new studios. They'll announce more. Aceman to God says, where did Banjo and Conquer go? Those IP were fire.
That's a great question right there, man.
Well, you know what? If you want to know, there is this game called Tarsman, I think it's called, and it is a IP from old Rare developers. And what happened is these developers just made this game. Hold on, I tweeted this out earlier. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna.
Speaking of Banjo-Kazooie, there was a newly found something for the speedrun community. It's sending waves, and people are loving it. So I mean, maybe that's enough to get a sequel made. Is the speedrunners we playing and breaking world records again in that game? I don't know.
So this game called Tamarin is a Jet Force Gemini spiritual successor, and it's made by ex-Rare employees. And it looks really good. It's but it's not coming to Xbox, unfortunately. It might come to Switch eventually, but it is on PS4 and PC. But if you guys were looking for that, like this Rare group actually have done a really good job. And they're the ones, some of these people were the people that made like Banjo-Kazooie and stuff like that. So I think that's pretty cool. And what we're seeing is I just think that this is something that Microsoft could be making, like a new Banjo game that would be inexpensive. But it's like whenever you bring up those type of games, they act like, you know, they're not going to be a huge hit. And I'm not the only one that says Microsoft kind of gives up on a franchise as soon as it doesn't hit like Halo status, right? Like when a game releases and it doesn't hit those big stratosphere numbers, a lot of times they'll dump it. And hold on. Joe Villages says, what would you have happened if Netflix, if they didn't have Stranger Things or Daredevil as exclusive? Well, here's the thing. Well, like Daredevil's leaving, but Netflix's biggest problem right now with their fighting to keep is the show Friends and the show The Office. Those are the two most watched shows on Netflix, believe it or not. People binge watch them. They leave it on in the background. Those shows, I think Netflix pays $100 million a year to stream those shows each year, right? So that goes to show you like how it's super important. The reason why, and they're about to lose these in like 2020 or 2021, because NBC, who owns those rights to those shows, only licensed them out for that long, and they're about to start their own streaming service. Surprise, surprise. So this is what we're seeing kind of in the future. Everybody wants to get their own thing going. Yep. So it's very important to have your own piece of the pie. That's why Microsoft is buying studios, and I think that they're going to continue to do that. They have to.
But crap, don't you think that this is an interesting point that a lot of people don't talk about? If that's what you see the networks are doing and people that own all these valuable movies and rights to movies, which it makes you stop and think, right? EA games are most likely not going to be coming to Game Pass because they have Origins and they have EA Access. Right, you see that all these other Ubisoft has Ubisoft Club, and maybe they're going to make a thing of that. You wonder, does that come into play as we go down the road with something like Game Pass, where Game Pass is like Netflix right now, where you can get a lot of these great games. You're seeing like Shadow of the Tomb Raider, you're seeing Monster Hunter World show up, these great games. But as these companies start to go, wait a minute, we could have our own streaming service, right? It's not hard for others to do this too and mimic it. That's something that may be something that deteriorates Game Pass as we move forward, or the Netflix, if you will. And as you can see, it's happening. And for anybody that's going, no, Mooch, that could never happen. It's happening to Netflix right before our very eyes. And if you look at Netflix's original series, there's that new zombie show that's out now. Umbrella Academy, I think, is fantastic. But I think that can't remember what it's called. Something summer, something.
The Our Planet documentary with David Attenborough is amazing for people that like the nature stuff. It's incredible.
But I don't think there's people being like, I can't wait to pay $14.99 a month for that. So my point being is it's got to be something that lures you in and ropes you in and keeps you there for a while. So, I mean, that's one of the things that's kind of alarming and alerting for certain folks. And I'm sure that Microsoft sees that and says, hey, that's why we need to keep buying and acquiring studios. Thing is, though, crap, you said it in a video of yours, or maybe it was your solo cast. You said, they have to acquire a AAA. I think you're going to see, for every AAA they acquire, I think you're going to see 5 to 7 AA or lower. They need to get content in there that is there, as Shady just said. So they're going to have to get, you've got to get your Shadow of the Tomb Raiders in Game Pass, but then you're going to have your nature shows in there too.
For every Halo game, you got to have a State of Decay, right? State of Decay 3, State of Decay 4.
I mean, it is, but don't get me wrong. Not everything has to be a hit, but if they're going to...
Just something new and fresh, I get that. I do. And I think they're going to use indies to that approach as well, right? Like they're doing that indies day and date in Game Pass or whatever.
Right.
And I think that works, but you got to do that in between. And I said this numerous times. State of Decay 2 wouldn't have been received as bad if it had come between two big blockbuster Xbox titles, right? The fact that we had to wait so damn long for a game, and that's like a morsel compared to the big meals of a AAA, people gave it extra criticism, and it's happened to Microsoft this entire generation. Same thing with like Sea of Thieves. Well, that didn't really launch with the content, so I understand the hate. Again, I love the game. it's fun with friends because you make your own game. It's like you can chill and just have a good time. But I understand why people didn't like it, right? Crackdown 3, fun game, but maybe not exactly what you expect for a game in 5 years of development.
Eater in the chat, he says Cobra Kai made me get YouTube Premium. So yeah, content. Like that's what it comes down to. It comes down to whether you like the games or the movies or the shows. That's your own personal preference. But exclusive content is such a big deal. This is not a time to light a candle and hold hands, especially if you're in business. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. It could be vehicles, it could be food, it could be clothing. Like people really do flock to their favorite store and buy their favorite product based upon their exclusive content or the only thing you can get at this particular location. It's why they called certain stores. Listen, you guys might not know this. Certain stores are called destination stores, destination locations. Those because you have to actually get in your vehicle or other means of transportation and go to that particular store. And that's what some of these like retailers will call some of them because they know you have to travel to get there to buy it.
What if they charge you an entry fee at the door?
Or that shady, yeah.
Like that would suck. That would suck. When it comes to exclusives on a device, I'm not a fan of. But exclusive content for a service or something like that, that's fine, and it makes perfect business sense. A platform, but like exclusive to any device means that I can use my smart TV, my Xbox, my iPad,
you can play
my
Netflix
PC.
on your
That's
computer,
awesome.
your TV,
Whereas,
your laptop, your
an exclusive to one device means I need that device. I don't want that one device. I don't want the one device. I want the software.
I know, but if somebody, that's just business, right? If somebody's gonna make a device that they want you to buy, they have to give you a reason to buy it. Like they have to.
What if they are making the device as like the premium option? But when it comes down to it, you can stream it on your computer or tablet or whatnot. I mean, because
would you go buy a new TV if you needed it for the new Disney Plus? Disney Plus is coming up, but you need a Disney TV to watch it on. Would you go buy a new TV?
But if they had, but hold on, but Shady, but if they did have their own Disney device, wouldn't you expect some kind of content to entice you as an owner of that device?
The device, I think, would suck. Like if you needed a Disney box to watch Disney Plus, that would suck so bad. It would have to fail. It would still be a success. But that's a barrier to entry. So allowing Disney Plus to work everywhere is way better. It has a lot of exclusive content, but it still works on every device. I'm fine with that type of exclusive stuff. I do not like the device-specific exclusivity.
Shady, let me ask you a question.
Buying multiple consoles. I'm tired.
Let me ask you a question, Shady. Well, that's never going to go away. Shady, here's the thing. Let me ask you this though. Let's say you subscribe to Netflix for the Marvel series that were out there, right? Punisher, Jessica Jones. Now they're not there. What do you do? No, that's I'm saying that's the reason you're there. I'm putting a scenario out there. Okay. What would you do with Netflix after that?
Well, if they left and that was the reason I was there, I would see no reason to stay. But I feel a lot of these services, if you're only in it for one thing, that's the wrong reason to be a part of a service. Like you get what you need out of it and then quit and leave. Like that's the way to do it. But I'm a part of Netflix and Amazon and all these other services because I like the breadth of content, all of the content. It's all there. I'm not going to watch it all, but it's there. I like that. This Game Pass. I don't play them all, but I like that they're there for me.
This is just a mooch thought, and I said this again. This is not new. I've been saying this for a while. I really think the subscription base is basically based off of a gym membership thought. There's a lot of people listening to this, a lot of people that you all know, whether it be you or someone else, that has a gym membership, and you know damn well they don't go to the gym, right? And they're paying $10, $15, $20 a month. So my point being is that they know, and that's me with Netflix. Netflix is my gym membership. Like I watch like a show on there probably once a month, if at best, and not even. I don't even think I do that. And I keep it because it's just like, I forget to cancel. And I think when you get Game Pass or this and that, that's why it's harder and harder to cancel Game Pass. My God, if you ever try to cancel Game Pass, you got to go like 8 menus deep.
It's 2 menus and 1 button click. It's really easy.
But you got to go on your PC and do it.
The Gym Pass, it's different in that. Like if you don't buy the new AAA first party, that's $60. So that's half a year, right? You got half a year of Game Pass. If all you did was play that one game that you wanted in Game Pass in the first month and you didn't touch it again for 5, like you got 6 months is what I'm trying to say. There's going to be something that comes out that you'll likely play again in that 6 months before your money's gone.
Shady, there's gym members, there's gyms out there. And if you think I'm kidding, there's people putting it on Twitter. I can actually show it to you. There's gym memberships that actually serve pizza on Mondays. Don't ask me why they do it, but they do. That's why you're supposed to not be going. You're supposed to not eat pizza and go to the gym, but they serve pizza on Mondays at certain gyms in the United States. And I'll tell you right now, you're telling me that if I keep my $10 a month, I can go there, eat the pizza on Mondays, make my money. That's not the reason I got the gym membership in the first place.
No, but you do need to eat when you're going to the gym.
ridiculous.
It doesn't matter what it is. You just need calories. You just got to work the
Hand
calories
out
off.
celery sticks. Listen, I got news for you. My whole point is that I think the whole idea here that they're doing and they're seeing what it is gamers we love new content, right? So we're like, here's a subscription-based system that's giving me games that I probably will never play. But like Shady said, that is the rationale. Shady, by all means, what you said is actually Pulitzer, because what you said is what was presented at the corporate meeting years ago when this was branched. They were saying, listen, I've got a gym membership. I haven't run on a treadmill in a decade. Okay, so my point being is they're going to keep this. Gamers like that kind of stuff. They subscribe and they forget. Remember Ronco knives or Ronco, that oven? Set it and forget it.
Yep, that's it.
This is buy it and forget it. Yep. You buy things and then you forget people just keep these things. And now we're doing everything a la carte. We're doing everything a la carte. You're not saving shit. I swear to God, I told Crap got in the cut the cable conversation 3 years ago. Mooch, I'm cutting my cable. I said, go ahead and cut it. Now Crap's up to like $400 and everything's a la carte. He's got NBC,
last time we did
ABC,
this, I said I was paying
CBS.
$75 a month. I'm actually paying like $40 a month, and I've got like 5 subscription service, including Game Pass. It's way cheaper than the bullshit $130 cable bill I had, so I could flickety flick and stop at a boob or a gun.
You're $10 cheaper and you lost 300 channels.
No, I'm paying $40 a month, Mooch. $40 a month for like 5 subscription services that I get everything I need on, including my gaming. And I don't need cable for $120 a month. I don't watch live sports.
What are the 40 you got?
I just don't need it. So instead, I'm paying $40, and I've got like 4 or 5 different subscription services plus Game Pass.
What services?
I've got Netflix. I've got Amazon, which comes with HBO and Stars. Yeah. I've also got a Canadian thing called Crave and Game Pass and Live. Like, you add all that up, it's like $45, dude.
Wait, you got Amazon with what and what?
We're with Amazon Prime. We get whatever that is, and then through that we get Stars. And then we also get HBO through our Crave membership, which is a Canadian subscription service. And then I'm also with Netflix. So that's like 4 or 5 right there. And then I can include
$14.99 a month.
Doesn't cost it when we include it with this, buying it through a year. It's like $80 for the whole year for us to do this thing. Like, it's not that expensive. For everyone doing it month to month to month and not buying years and stuff, hey, that's a them problem. I'm paying way less money now.
Well, let me counter you real quick. So $120. Don't get me wrong. 120 is way more than you're paying more than 40, but I'll give you 40 if that's your
50.
example.
It's like 50,
all right, 50, right?
Most.
120 versus 50. I got news for you. I got like 400 and something channels. So you might go, well, I don't need them all. Yep. Who cares? Do you need all the games in Game Pass?
No, I get what you're saying there. Of course,
That's
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. In general, man, I just don't see the cable anymore for me. Like, I'm all over the subscription services. I would gladly pay $80 a month to have access to all
Shady,
games.
Let me say this, Shady. The other day, here's the thing, right? I'm trying to cut down on some costs, as a lot of people know I'm getting married and stuff like that, trying to save up some money. So I'm going through all these subscription services that I have, right? And it's a lot. So I had like the CBS experience, the CBS one, because I watched the Star Trek show. I canceled that one. Spotify, I actually do the Creative Cloud through Adobe, which is $10 a month. I have Hulu Live, which is my live TV. I have Netflix. I have Amazon Prime. I don't have Game Pass, but I do have like Xbox Live. But that I know, dude. Well, look, I don't need Game Pass. I don't need it at this point. Maybe I will at some point, but so I've got so much of this stuff. I don't know, man. I it's so complicated and keeping up with it all. And like Mooch says, man, like my PlayStation Plus renews automatically. And I forgot, I don't even play online on that. You know what I mean?
They're going to stop that. I mean, this is a problem for people that want everything. They want to keep their cable, and they want to have every subscription service. They want to have all 3 systems with all 3 online services. Like, that's an issue of just being gluttonous and greedy. Like, it is. You can't have everything and not have to pay for it. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, absolutely. I agree with that. No, if you want it, Shady, you got to pay for it. You couldn't get anyone to stand behind you. I agree completely with that. But I mean, I think that what you're showing in your self-discipline isn't necessarily, that's not an easy sell to certain people. And
no, I just don't see the value in cable anymore myself. It was asking too much for channel flipping, really. So we got rid of it, and we have never regretted it for a single day. Like, and we put that money into the other subscription services, and we're still saving cash, and we have all we need. We don't watch live sports. That's a big one for the guys that do. Kind of hard to get around having a cable subscription of some variety, but
hey, we kind of got sidetracked here. I know everybody's enjoying it, although they're being stingy with the likes. I don't know what, like, we haven't been negative. Where, you know, please like the show, share it out, man. Let's get 150 likes. That's not gonna kill you guys. Yes,
great
please.
Show.
I want to talk about you guys. You guys might like this topic, right? So it looks like this Xbox Anaconda is going to be significantly more powerful than the PS5, according to some of these new outlets and stuff like that. I know that the Don Xbot had mentioned that he was briefed. He didn't say specifically which one.
He left it very general.
He left it very general that one of them was going to be significantly more powerful. Now it's up to us to decide, but he wasn't the only one.
Well,
so
Sony
he said there would be a performance. Yeah, he said there would be a performance
a gap,
a noticeable performance gap in one category, and I think we know that's going to be the CPU.
Well, here's the thing. It says the PS5 is going to be capable of fast loading times, backwards compatibility with the PS4. Microsoft hasn't really confirmed anything, but Ansley Bowden, a member of the game's media, tweeted out that Numery, that's not even Numery, yeah, have told him that the Xbox Anaconda is going to be more powerful. So this is what he tweeted. The PS5 hardware details so far were exactly what we were hoping for, even beyond what many were expecting. Multiple insiders have now confirmed it's true. Xbox Anaconda will be more advanced as rumored. All this means is next year is going to be amazing for fans of both. Yeah. So Microsoft is rumored to be launching 2 consoles. The Anaconda, the more powerful, the Lockhart, the less powerful, but probably more affordable entry-level next-gen Xbox. For me, I think this is very interesting because Microsoft has insisted they won't be left behind in the power narrative anymore. And if you aren't going to have games ready to launch, like new IP and stuff right away, because it looks like we're going to get Halo and Forza and stuff again,
which is going to be a great launch lineup.
It is, but it's just weird to me not to see
if they reinvent those franchises and make them worth it. Just because of the name alone doesn't mean it's going to be great.
Multiplayer.
Halo 5 was alright, bro. Halo 5 was
the multiplayer was the best.
Okay, but that's not selling consoles like that, brother. That's not going to sell hardware like that. The games have to be relevant. I'm not saying I'm hoping to God that Gears is off the hook and Halo Infinite. Believe me, I want them to be that good. But they got to show that. I want to see
hardware, right?
I want to see that. I want to see that. Yeah, because it has to go together. Having more powerful hardware means nothing if you don't have the content. I want to see that power showed off. I still don't know. I still don't know what the X could do. Do any of you? Besides,
no, but none of us technically know what the PlayStation can do. Like Digital Foundry did a half-hour breakdown on the reveal of the PS5, and they ended up saying Sony kind of revealed nothing. They said a lot of buzzwords that got people like myself, the non-tech savvy, rather excited. Like, ooh, that all sounds awesome. But I think because Sony announced their stuff early already, and the way they did it, it almost guarantees that Xbox is the bigger dog when it comes to power. You don't come out and release Sony specs if you're less powerful after Xbox has done it.
Sony didn't play their whole
Xbox
hand. Sony didn't play their whole hand.
They played enough of it.
They threw little crumbs to get people talking. Brilliant marketing.
Wait till Microsoft does their E3 briefing, then Sony will show a little bit more. Sony's going to announce release dates for The Last of Us 2 and those other games.
Oh, I know. Probably, but on the regards of just spec and power talk, I think Sony came and saying what they did, and being very vague about it. Right? They used a lot of buzzwords for the non-tech savvy, but like Digital Foundry said, they didn't actually kind of release any details on it at all. So whatever. But I think Sony's getting ahead of it because they even know that the power narrative isn't going to be with them, so they're going to rely on.
But they know how to get people hyped.
They do, and they'll fall back on that, which is fine.
Let me pay some
for that power.
Let me pay some bills real quick. Robert Olson says, without exclusive content, I doubt Xbox would have gotten off the ground. Make Xbox great again. Stop Six Stock says, if I had to pay $500 for a new console, at least give me that in exclusives. $500 worth of good exclusive quality games. I'm just ranting. No, dude, you're 100%. allowed to rant and give your opinion on that. I would hope that they launch with a couple new IP, the next Xbox. I think that would be incredibly important. And I would love to see that because we haven't got a lot of new IP from Microsoft. We haven't got a ton from Sony either up until this end of the generation. I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn, very polished, kind of boring to me. But you know, it's one of those games that people absolutely love and kind of fawn over, and I understand that completely. I'm just saying, I think it makes sense to have a lot of content in terms of when you launch a new piece of hardware, and I would love to see Microsoft invest and have a good launch, because I know for a fact that when they launched the X, they wanted to launch that with more than Forza Motorsport 7.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Like they had more than just that in mind when they launched it. It is kind of sad that we haven't had anything to really showcase that.
I want to see Gears 5 push it to the limit, man. That's what I want.
Yes, hey, look, they're saying 4K.
Push this X to the limit, bro.
I'll be honest with you,
4K 60. What do you think about this?
I think when it comes down to it, when these specs were revealed, or not specs, pardon me, but when the Cerny interview came out, hardware and everybody, names. Right? Yeah, hardware, right? Exactly. But the thing about it though, Xbox was this was crucial. This is crucial that Xbox has the stronger box, and you're probably all saying, "Why? It's not about power." Well, let's forget all the nonsense and the back and forth going on through the wars and such. Realistically, you're going to have there's a percentage, not all PlayStation guys, but there's a percentage of PlayStation guys and gals that are going to want to go and play. Okay, their multi-plats in the best form that they possibly can on the TV that they just spent the most money on, that's going to get the most out of their visuals, and that'll be the Xbox. So what this does,
that's very small,
is it may be a small percentage, Knox, but it's going to keep Xbox relevant, not just to their fans, but it will sneak in a dual console owner on the Sony side for some. And I know some, I'm not going to name call them. I know some big time Sony fans that say, Mooch, I got an X because, I play my multi-plats on the X and I play my Sony exclusives and games that don't come out. Maybe there's some of the Japanese titles, etc., that don't come out on Xbox still. I play them on my PS4 Pro. Mm-hmm. So there is now just imagine, take this scenario, just anyone that doesn't believe what I'm saying, let's reverse it. I love to do this. Let's look at the other side of the glass, okay? Now all of a sudden Xbox isn't as weak, it's weaker than the PS5. Well, now you stop and you say, well, what do I need an Xbox for? Their exclusives are going to go on PC, right? I can play them anywhere. I can play them all over the place. They're on Game Pass. I'm pretty sure that service will be in a lot of locations. And I'll play my best multi-plats and I'll play my exclusives on Sony over there. My point being is, hearing that the Xbox One Anaconda or the Xbox Anaconda is going to be more powerful, everyone's like, yeah, myself personally, I'm like, thank God. Like that's an important step for Microsoft, and I think they know that.
Xbox needs it just to kill the narrative.
Absolutely.
Just to kill the narrative. Like, power doesn't matter. Let's say it doesn't matter. But if Sony's the most powerful, be prepared for power to be the one and only thing. And that is the one thing that is standard for the rest of the gen. Every single game review will highlight that the Xbox doesn't have the power like they did at the beginning.
Power would matter. Yeah, power would matter.
And once the X came out, it killed it. Now, when the reviews of games are out, they don't say the X is way better than the Pro in every single review, like they said that the PlayStation was better than Xbox. They used to do that. The X came out and it killed the power narrative in the media. So Xbox needs to maintain the power, if only to snuff out that bullshit narrative in the media. Because if Sony has it, it will be the number one narrative, man. Every single review, everything will be power. Sony has it.
You're right, but it goes just a smidgen beyond that. It goes back to my point of, what it does is it solidifies Xbox into the next generation, because I think, and I know, we had this great conversation earlier, and again, me and Xbox were going back and forth. Halo's no doubt going to be amazing. Gears is this generation, so forget about that. Going into the next gen, Halo, and then all of a sudden, boom, you run into their new items, and we don't know. These new IP are going to be completely unproven, right? So you have to hold that power crown. It's what's going to keep the Xbox faithful there, and it may keep that percentage of Sony fans from coming over and playing their multi-plats on the Xbox platform.
One of the things that I thought was funny, when Mark Cerny came out with this article, Twitter everywhere blew up, and people were like, Xbox is dead. Look at his power, 8K and all that good stuff, which he said outputting 8K, which means upscaled 8K. But then all of a sudden, people who have kind of like insiders is like, the Anaconda is going to be more powerful. Those same people that were touting the death of Xbox over power were like, well, power doesn't mean anything. It's about the game. So either way, people are going to flip-flop all over the place.
I'm not arguing that.
Let me pay this bill real quick. Royal Boyle says the X promoted all that power. Not one single Xbox One X game looked better than any Sony exclusive this gen. Sorry, but facts. That's very. That's
not true.
I mean,
it's a slight difference. In multiplayer, there's a difference. It's not. Exclusive? Nah, well, there's nothing that shows off the power of the X. There's no exclusive.
Gears 4 is insane.
I think with their, I know, but I think if you're comparing
Horizon 4 is insane.
Yeah, but
Red Dead Redemption is the only game you can use.
Yeah, because Gears 4 wasn't made with
and maybe Metro.
They put
Metro
a nice patch in there. But yep, Mooch is right, bro.
Hey, Failed Pyromancer says Sony will show good use of power. They always do. Here's the thing, and I've mentioned this multiple times. The Sony stuff, right? On the base PS4, like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted 4, Spider-Man, those games on the base PS4, 1.8 T-flop PS4, or whatever that is, look better than the exclusives that we've seen on the Xbox One X so far. Right, I'm not saying every game, but the exclusives.
That's true.
They get so much out of their hardware. It's incredible, and that's one of my fears about going forward with forward compatibility, backwards compatibility.
Correct.
Games on a cell phone, games on a watch, games on a TV, games on on your car, games on your shoe.
Fridge.
On your fridge.
I'll even say this, crap. I'll put God of War on base PS4 hardware against the best third-party multi-platform game, which is Red Dead Redemption 2 on the X, and it still gives it a run for its money.
Yeah, it looks. I mean, look, when I play these games, I'm like, damn.
Game compared to a mostly
I'm talking about
an
individual department. We're talking about a 1.8 T-flops against 6 T-flops.
But you're talking about different.
The point is that
types of games that are going to demand more from the art style. Brother.
No doubt.
It's going to demand more from the hardware.
I'm just saying I'll put them against it, and people will be like, yo, what is that?
And one thing, I am not going to be in front of the line screaming for Xbox to make a corridor action adventure game. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not gonna
compare the water in God of War to the water in Sea of Thieves. It's no contest. Like you can pick and choose whatever you want. Like it's just graphic look and it's like living
water. Yeah, but I do think Microsoft needs what would be nice to expand. Just like I think Sony should have a multiplayer game or two. I think it would behoove Microsoft to expand theirs past this whole games as a service only thing. Because if they don't, just look at how the industry tends to go. Like a lot of people love single player stuff. And Sony's like, hey, we're the only ones that really do it. And then when you look around, EA is not really allowing it. I know this Star Wars game is an exception, but EA is not really allowing single player games. Ubisoft, they're not. They're all about games as a service.
Everybody wants single player though. Service. That's what it is.
They have a single player, but they're more something else. Like, okay, I booted up Forza Horizon 4, and I don't even know where to jump in on that game. It's a good game. It's like dailies, weeklies. When you boot up Forza Horizon 2 or 3, man, it's just like you go to do the festival stuff and you have fun. I don't even know where the hell to begin with. It's like so convoluted with games as a service features. I just want to jump in and game, and you know what I'm saying, and place like and do well in the what you're supposed to do to level up.
When I go into Forza Horizon 4, the first thing I do, I get into my favorite car, and then I hit the menu. I bring up the menu, and I go into adventure, and that's it. And that's all I do.
Well, I'll have to look for that, man. There was so much to look at. I was like, what do I even do? And then I was like, I'll work on stuff for the podcast. So I mean, I think that's good because Xbox fans, we've come to appreciate that could sell some Anacondas, right? Having a more power, but I think it's going to have a more powerful price point as well.
I think with what they said in the hardware, of course, we don't know anything about clock speed. We don't know anything about what type of memory or how much memory. And those are two big things when you're talking hardware, computer hardware, console hardware.
Play that hand yet,
but
they're not going to play that.
But to say that it's significantly better, and they're using the Zen 3, the Ryzen 3 Zen 2 CPU. They're using the Navi architecture when it comes to the GPU. That says something pretty miraculous right there. And I think what's going on there is they did a lot of the bottleneck work with the motherboard and everything on the X. So they already had a blueprint where they can drop in these chips and they automatically work better. All right. And that's one thing that I said when the X came out and talking about what was underneath the hood of the X. I really feel like they did a lot of their homework with the X. So this way, when they do come out with the Anaconda, and even in some cases, the Lockhart is going to perform maybe above specification.
That would be interesting. Glorious War has a good question too. He says, does the panel think the Xbox Lockhart will keep next gen back? I can see that being the new narrative with the multiple SKUs.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I think possibility, like Mooch, you guys, do you think they're going to do forward compatibility, or do you think they're just going to support the current Xbox generation into next gen?
No, they're definitely going to support forward compatibility, at least for the foreseeable future. Crap. That's Phil's whole MO.
Yeah.
Right. Buy a game, take it anywhere, play it anywhere. I mean, if they're playing it so you play it, if they're making these games so you can play it on your phone, you definitely can play it on the latest and greatest Xbox One X. But where I don't think the Lockhart will hold people back is there's going to be the necessary advancements made hardware-wise in the Lockhart that make games going forward
perform above specification.
Absolutely. They'll be able to keep up with the Joneses. Absolutely.
Well, what about the X and the S then?
Well, the S is a different conversation.
If you can't afford to jump to newer hardware, if they do the forwards compatibility, there is no parity between the two. If you want to enjoy the newer games that are coming out, you can still do that. If you want the premium experience, you are going to jump hardware.
So they're going to make so they're going to make two versions of the game.
I don't know. No, if the newest games are working on a phone with xCloud, that'll be the same with the S.
Don, he can explain this to you how they basically.
I know. I've heard.
They build games at a higher level, and then they scale them down to the hardware.
Well, XBL, hold on a second. You got Delilah, and this is what I was referring to. I don't know if my point came across, but Delilah nailed it. She says, "Does PCs keep new graphic cards back, new games back?" Shake my head. She goes, games scale to the hardware. That's my point. So
to a certain degree, there's a certain degree. PC games will have a minimum of certain cards that you can't use below that. Yes, they do. They do get held back.
Well, that's why when you said the S, I said, well, that's a different conversation.
And the fat. And the fat too.
The fat is
it's not going to hold it back.
If Halo Infinite is streamable with xCloud onto your phone, there's no reason why that version couldn't be streamable with xCloud to your original VCR Xbox One. I think the Xbox One and the S will you'll be able to use the newest games on those old systems because of xCloud only. They won't be able to play them on their own. I bet.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Well, let me say this though, but Microsoft
I want to see Microsoft do it. I want to see Microsoft do it and play that shit on a fat Xbox.
Microsoft already has these problems though, because if you look at they almost kind of forget about like the Xbox. Okay, let's say for install base, let's just say 45 million, right? That can keep everybody happy. I'm not lowballing them. I'm not saying it's 50 million.
Every time an Xbox is sold,
I know.
An angel loses its wings.
So let's say 45 million are sold. Yeah. How many are X's? They're probably like 2 or 3 million. That's not a lot. That means whenever these games come out, Microsoft consistently has the worst performing versions because most of the people that have an Xbox One are S owners or fat Xbox One owners, and that's the fact. So Microsoft is very quick to go power of the X, and they also introduced this SAD edition of the Xbox, and that's like this. I know it's SAD edition. Excuse me.
You can't say edition if you say SAD because you don't include the E. It's SAD edition.
SAD edition. Yeah, but so they have this but the fact that they just introduced this now in 2019 and they're coming out with new hardware in 2020 means that they've got to support these things next year too and beyond that, right? Like they've got to continue to support it. My question is, those things are so weak in comparison. People are really going to have a tough time when playing on these, especially imagine playing like say Gears against somebody on an X who's doing 4K 60 and you're doing maybe 800p. I don't know. Maybe they won't get 60. I don't know, but there's a night and day difference when go back and play.
All right,
that'll inspire them to upgrade.
All right, guys, the frames per second. When you're looking at online multiplayer, the frames per second mean the most when you're in competitive. All right, if we have an advantage over them when it comes to FPS, then yeah, that's like unfair, and you're almost shooting fish in a barrel that way. In some cases, all right, in some cases, but I don't know what they're gonna do. I'm interested to find out. I mean, we can speculate it on it all day long. And we as gaming YouTubers, we do that a lot.
Yeah.
But we got to see them do it and do it right. All right.
Yeah.
It went from, they got to scale down, and it's just not possible to, let's see what they do. And if they do something that really kind of hampers the experience or something like that, we as gamers should speak up about it. That's exactly what you do.
Yeah. And you know what? Props to you, because you came to the chat. I did a podcast. I did a solo thing yesterday, Xbot, and what you said was true, man. Because true, you've been there. You might not even agree with everything I say, but you're there. You're like, hey, man, Crap's a good guy. You know what I mean? I don't agree.
You are my bro. You
know what I'm saying?
Dude, I love this community, this entire community, and that's all you guys.
I was thrown out, man. It took about 100 of them to do it, but they were like, "Get the hell out of here, Crab. We don't want you here." So
even
now it's
that
like
Xbox basher over there, Noximus.
Yeah,
man. Listen, don't get it twisted. I'm not an Xbox basher. Don't. I'm a gamer first.
Dude, I have
absolutely.
I had to get you back, bro.
No doubt. It's all gravy, baby. You already know. But I'm gonna keep it funky, which I'm gonna keep it a buck for real. I'm a gamer first. I have absolutely no allegiance to any corporation, dude. It's what have you done for me lately? What you gonna give me for these 65 yuccas, brother? That's all I'm saying. I said yuccas. What you gonna give me? I need to want that. I have no. When Sony shits the bed, I call them out. Microsoft shits the bed, they get called out. Nintendo, they're Nintendo.
Yeah, they're Nintendo. We can't say much bad about Nintendo. But let me say this:
don't sell me cardboard. You're selling me a Heineken box for $75.
Hey, I can't find that VR set anywhere. That thing is sold out. Like, woo, man, it's crazy. So the Anaconda is probably going to be. What do you guys think, man? You guys think it's going to be 500 or 600?
It's going to be higher than that, man. If I had to guess, the thing about it is, a lot of people, when you say like $600 or something like that, people point back to the PS3, which was like what, 12, 13 years ago? Like, the industry has gotten so much bigger since then. Not only
you would have the other option though, because that's what I always say. I say when I said that this thing's going to be between $600 and $700, and people said I'm crazy and they bring up the PS3, I go, listen, Microsoft, and this isn't a bad thing, Microsoft doesn't care if you buy that version.
No,
if you want to buy the Lockhart,
yeah,
you want to play on an S or an X or a PC or your iPad or what, your toilet paper, smart toilet paper holder,
I think it'll be 500.
They don't care. Do you think they're going to get away with 500?
I think they can pull it off, because look at the time, look at the difference between like when the S and when the Fat and the X came out, right? It's like what, 4 years, right? 13,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that's 6 T-flops, right? To the 1.3 of the Fat. So, by the time it comes out in like 2020, it's going to almost be 2021, right? Late 2020. I think they could pull it off.
I completely agree with Knox. I think if you want to start to guesstimate what the Anaconda is going to be, you got to think about what you got to look at what the actual Lockhart's going to be.
The Lockhart got to be $299.
I really, really think that no. To be honest with you, I think Knox. I think it's going to be $499 for the Anaconda, and $399 for the Lockhart.
Well, okay, so let me ask you guys this, but here's the thing that I always bring up. Here's the thing that I bring up. So we are about a year and a half away from the supposed launch of these new Xboxes. Yeah. The Xbox One X is still reselling for $499, $500. Mm-hmm. So how in the hell would, in a year and a half time, would they have the Xbox Anaconda at $500? What would they're still going to sell the X. What is that going to be?
I have your answer for you.
Okay.
Look at the Surface, right? How are they doing that? They have multiple SKUs. They have multiple options for it. You can buy it in every store, i5, i7, different hard drive spaces in there. And I have a feeling they're going to do the same fucking thing with this. They'll have a base model that's sold pretty much everywhere. That's probably what the Lockhart is, the $499 version. And then you can go online, Xbox or Best Buy, and you can buy the custom fit that you want.
So you think they're going to do sort of that way? I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, I know where he's going with that, and I think those incentives and those types of deals will come later. But I think off the cuff, you can't have Microsoft go to the stage, okay, and say $500 last year or whatever it was, 2017, pardon me, and then come back out there again and say $600. We're gonna be like, oh great, what's next, E3? You know what I mean? What are we going to? $700? There's gonna be $800. Like people will all of a sudden think there's a natural progression to just more money for more power. That's not gonna fly with gamers. I'm telling you right now. Right now, everybody knows the sweet spot is 400. But that being said, Sony and Microsoft also know that they're putting more power in the box. And Sony saw that 500 worked.
Yep.
So 500, right? 500 is the new 400.
Yep.
They know that. 600, that's dangerous. That's dangerous.
Well, let me ask
we
you this:
a bundle of a game again or something like that.
Like that's not happening.
Well, we can roll this topic
into
it
that years ago.
Mark Cerny says the PS5 price will be appealing to gamers overall.
So much
very vague.
What the hell's appealing?
Yeah, exactly. Not
PS5 is looking at a solid $499.
So you think the PS5 is going to be 500 and the Anaconda is going to be 500?
I do.
No. You think they're both going to be 500?
Yeah.
Crap! I think we already heard that Sony's going to take a hit on the box, and so's Microsoft. They're going to take a hit on the box.
But dude, I don't think but this is supposedly going to be a big difference in specs. And you're going to say they're both going to be 500.
No, wait, you're talking about
that big, though.
Right? What's the big difference in specs? 12 to 14 teraflops?
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
Listen, I got news for you. At the end of the day, let's just talk realistically. Let's say that both of these consoles should be 600 and 650 respectively. Okay, so Sony's going to take 100 hit, Microsoft's going to take 150 hit, and Microsoft could take the extra $50 hit. You know, that's what I'm saying. Right now, Microsoft can't have their premium box be $600. If they are, I'm telling you right now, that's not going to do very well. And the problem with that is the Lockhart's going to be considerably less powerful than the PS5.
Yep.
So they can't crap. If that's where it's at, that's where it's at. I'm not trying to make a prediction. I'm just trying to use logic.
I understand, and I'll get back to this in a second. Alentia Speaks says top 3 gaming companies are 1, Tencent, 2, Sony, 3, Microsoft. Nintendo not even in the top 5. Get some perspective, crap. Xbox had a rough gen, but they're far from dead. Whoa. I never said Xbox is dead. Xbox is posting their hardware sales are sagging. They have sagging hardware sales down 33%. They're going more towards users and services, and those are making them money. So they're selling less Xboxes, which I guess is to be expected.
And more controllers.
And more controllers. But Xbox is going to be around. They're buying these. They're setting themselves up for a post hardware future or whatever. Whether they're third party, I don't know. Nobody knows exactly what's their plan. But Phil and them do like games on whatever, and there was rumors that they had approached Sony to get their Game Pass on PlayStation. And there were rumors with the Nintendo stuff. Who knows what happened there? But they would love their stuff to be on PlayStation. I just don't think PlayStation wants their stuff on PlayStation. So I think that's what prevents that. But if you look at how they've done things with Microsoft since Satya Nadella took over, you wouldn't think that Windows and stuff would be on Apple products. And here we are. Right? Like they don't care about that. Like back in the Ballmer and Gates days, if you wanted Microsoft product, you had to buy a Microsoft product, right?
Think about this. I'm having a great conversation with Oh Snap, it's Mel, and I'll be honest with you. I get Mel's point. Mel, you have to understand, me and you are on the same exact page with this, but we have to take our gamer take the feelings you have towards your favorite console just out of it for a second, me myself included. And the minute you say, listen to this for a second. So the Xbox Anaconda is more powerful, and it ends up being $600. The PS5 slightly less powerful, both doing 4K 60. Yes, the Xbox Anaconda having better lighting effects, etc. Okay, but both doing 4K 60 ends up being $499. And then you have the Lockhart, which is rumored, guys. This is all rumor. Take it with a grain of salt. Rumored to be doing 1080p 60 frames on lock at $399. So really, ultimately, what you have going into the next generation is a mega steep price of $600. People already frowned upon that. People in the media are already saying $600 is the taboo price.
You will be sending them to Sony.
Yes,
you'll
if you do 600,
you'll
admit. Yeah, what Microsoft's doing is giving you a one-way ticket to Sony land.
Why? If Lockhart's 4, why wouldn't the guys go for the cheaper option there?
At 1080 60 versus 4K 60?
Because they can
1080 60.
They can still get, because they're gonna get close to the most powerful, right? and save that $100. The difference isn't going to be that significant where they're going to pay that extra $100.
I don't think Lockhart's going to be 1080-60 though.
Well, I'm just saying
what they're saying.
There are people. There's people saying that. I'm not saying.
But
couldn't the Xbox One X do that?
It can, but the
CPU
will hold it back. That's the difference.
But let me say this though, like I believe the Xbox One X could do most games 1080-60.
And what's the price of it right now? It's MSRP
$500,
$499. Right.
Yeah.
So that's my point. So even if Lockhart is the 4K 30 box that is the X with a few enhancements, it's still going to be $400 at best.
Yeah,
so
I still think the
Lockhart,
PS5. I still think the PS5 comes in at $400.
Guys, I think we're looking at between the Lockhart and the Anaconda. All right, and I know you guys are going to disagree with me here, but that's what makes this show great.
Yeah,
I think we're looking at a $200 gap between Lockhart and Anaconda. So if you're saying the Anaconda, if you're saying the Anaconda is $500, that means the Lockhart is coming in at $300. They got to go. If they're gonna go higher,
they're selling you. They're selling you.
They're gonna go lower
for $250
with the Lockhart, baby. Yeah,
they're selling you a discless S for $250. You think they're gonna put the Lockhart at $300?
Yeah, I mean, listen, and the only reason I'm saying the Anaconda, the only reason I'm saying Anaconda at $500 is Microsoft knows that they can't come out $100 more in this case. They just can't. It doesn't matter. 2 teraflops, they can't.
If they're using the Anaconda as only for the hardcore, I could see them doing it. The hardcore will buy it.
Well, I mean, the hardcore will buy it, but JD, we already know what the hardcore numbers are. They're not.
Oh, I know, and the rest of the casuals will go for the cheap Lockhart.
No, they won't. They'll go for the PS5.
We'll see.
You see what I'm? No, JD, you know numbers. You're good at this. Come on, you just said it yourself. So what's going to happen is the hardcore will go for the $600 price tag of the Anaconda. I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I'm with you. But the minute that somebody goes, I'm out. I'm not paying $600, and you might go, "Come on, let's talk about $100." That was a big difference in 2013.
Here's how kind of nitpicky we are on this next gen stuff. Scott K says, "Crap. If 4K 60 isn't shit at medium settings, if it's 4K 60 high ultra, that's what's up. Settings and frames are going to be next gen." Like, who cares about that stuff? Like the average gamer. Okay, well, let me get the Anaconda because it's high ultra settings versus medium set. Like nobody cares about that.
Most of your TVs are doing 60 frames. So, the one thing I was concerned about is what if Microsoft starts to put the Anaconda and be like, well, the Anaconda is so strong, it can do 144 frames. That's great if you're hooking your Anaconda up to a great monitor. I have one of those monitors. Most people don't.
Well,
so, what about may not appeal to a lot of hardcore gamers?
What about if Microsoft knows that the Lockhart or the Anaconda is going to be priced expensive, right? And it's let's just say $550. Right, let's split the hair.
They never do 50s, but
I get it. But let's just say $550.
It's $600.
And what if they're putting Lockhart at $400 to match the PS5? Right? What if that's to be the PS5?
It's the Lockhart, and that's where I don't believe that Lockhart is doing 1080-60. Because if you put it on the same price level with the PlayStation 5, and you got the PlayStation 5 with 4K 60 frames per second, all the goodies and stuff like that. People are going to look at the Lockhart like, pardon my French, but what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, it would make no sense.
I like where Xbox going with this. If Microsoft's plan, if their sneak attack is that the Lockhart is going to be right up there, like literally neck and neck with the PS5, same price point, then I would say that you could have your Anaconda at $600 because at that point you have a competing brand at the exact same level. But if the Lockhart is inferior at all to the PS5, then the Anaconda has to match because what happens is the PS5 gets the bulk of the consumers, the ones that don't want to get the lower system and don't want to pay the higher price tag.
Well, let me point this out too, Mooch, because you were like, what's 2 teraflops? That's what the Xbox One X is less than that.
Yeah,
and it's $100 more than the Pro.
Crap, absolutely. But let me just tell you something. There is a threshold, and I'm not pretending to know this, but there's a threshold where when you hit, you're hitting the max number. If you're trying to hit 4K 60, and let's say that's at 12, well, and they're at 12, 14 is going to do other great things on the game for you. Absolutely, no doubt. But at that point, somebody who's 4K 60, that consumer, they'll be content with that $100 less price tag and getting the same product.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I don't think Microsoft cares if we buy that version.
You know what will sell?
That may be.
You know what will sell the Lockhart? great exclusive content.
He's right.
You're not wrong. I mean,
if Microsoft had great exclusive content, people will ponder it and go, you know what? I'll take a hit on the visuals on multiplats, but I'm gonna get these awesome looking ass graphics.
I know it was
on my exclusives.
You know, Knox is so right. Let's use a drastic example. It's absolutely drastic. It's not going to happen. By no means is it going to happen. But you know, you say, why would I spend $600 on Anaconda? All of a sudden, you find out. Like I'm joking here, but GTA 6 is exclusive to Xbox for a year. Watch people buy that Anaconda. Like, you know, it doesn't matter whether it's first party or a third party lock-in deal. That's what you need to get people to spend that money. Yep. You know, and if you're not going to do that, then price is really, really relevant here. And I think Sony knows that price is going to win this one for them. And I said this, go back 2.5 years ago to a podcast, and I said it's going to be price and performance. And the deal here is you have performance, which is going to be with Xbox, but I think the price point here, because we're at 4K 60, crap, we joke all the time. You can't get 4K 60er, right? So if they're both doing 4K 60 on your respective
TV, you can get ray
TV,
tracier though.
Not on your TV, you can't.
Hey, man, the original Atari all the way up until the original Xbox was running on the same 480p. They didn't get 480p-er, but the graphics sure got way better every gen. Yeah. That's what's happening, Mooch. It's not the resolution war that's going to get better or even the frames.
It is the
60,
frame.
But it's going to be when I look outside and it looks real because it's real, and then I look at my game and it's the same. That's what we're getting to. There's still so much more as far as graphics and AI and shit on screen that can maybe improve.
I agree with you, Shady, but the difference is it enough for your $100?
Absolutely. And I don't buy my first console
I'm not
based off of $100 difference. We're looking at like a 5-6 year time period. $100 isn't going to make or break my gen.
You said earlier in the conversation today, which was a separate subject, and I get that, and I'll take that with a grain of salt, but you were okay with losing 285 channels because it wasn't worth your money. What I'm saying to you right now is maybe somebody's not going to care if the smoke and lighting effects in their game when they're both getting 4K 60 matters for that $100. You can't use one argument for money and make sense and then say, wait, I'll spend it there.
The casuals will care more about better graphics than they will about 4K 60. I swear. They're going to look at what the generic person sees, which is better graphics, and just be like, okay, cool.
I don't agree with that. I think
the best looking game ever, but it's 1080p.
I think the casual is going to say, I have a 4K 60 TV, and does the PS5 give me that? Yes. Does the Anaconda give me that? Yes. Okay, so what's next? Next is the games.
I know casuals are going to look at the price and then look at where they got their games from before the previous generation. That's what they're going to look for. If they have a PS4 now, they're going to probably get a PS4 next gen. And especially if it's cheaper than what the Xbox is, it's the ones that like in the middle ground, the flip floppers, the guys who buy every console or decide which one they're going to buy first or second, that will sway that the argument we're having right now. But most of the casuals will stick with the brand they already have because that's where all their friends play. People don't take into account that aspect of it. Like
I do.
Where your friends at? And I think a lot of the people who are growing up in this generation, this day and age, that have PlayStations will continue with their PlayStation.
Pred, it's good to have you here because I've been using this example for weeks and weeks and weeks, if not months now. And you're a military guy, you get this, okay? The whole thing is, I said, there's a lot of times when you look at a war, but there was a certain battle that was more important in the war than others. And this generation was a crucial battle to win, and Sony won it because of what you just said. It's not about favoritism or console wars, guys. Wherever you have bought your 100, 200, 300 games, and now back compat
is the hardcore. The casuals buy 3 games a year, man. It's been 5 years. They have 15. Okay, so with
the casuals, it goes to your friends, and that's the more popular consoles, the PS5. The hardcore, who have bought 100 million consoles, okay, included in there, also have 100, 200, 300 games. They're going to continue to buy the PS5 because they want all the games they bought to come with them.
Well,
so this is a crucial battle.
Are going to buy both systems. They're just going to buy one first.
Right.
Because most of us are hardcore gamers. We probably all have.
Right. Systems. I agree.
So the hardcore are going to pick one first and then go with that. The casuals are going to pick the one they're used to and they've been with. Like it's like switching from Apple to an iPhone, to a Samsung. Like some people just can't do that. You know, like they just can't.
I did.
Android, baby.
Yeah, and some people they get a phone, they're like, what the fuck? I don't know what to do with this thing. Like I'm that way. I've had Android my entire life, and and going on to Apple is kind of foreign to me. I've tried it. It's weird, but like I've seen people do the other way. So most of these gamers that are stuck with their that have their PlayStation, they're embedded in that system, that ecosystem.
Right.
They're gonna stick with that at least initially.
At least initially.
They may sway over later, but initially
that's what I mean. This was a crucial generation to lose. It was a crucial generation to lose because it was the first time. And you know, Shady, I was hearing you. I think you were saying it. Maybe it was on Twitter or maybe it was on this show. You had mentioned that you predominantly at the end of the 360 era into this generation, you went all digital for the most part, right? And I mean, don't get me wrong. That goes. And again, a lot of the things you say, Mooch is actually in your camp. We're on the same. I'm speaking for the masses here. And I'm with you. But this is so myself personally, if you're not a PS4 owner, Shady, and you've gone all digital this generation, it is really, really, really hard for me to talk you into a PS5. You're like, dude, even though you made a hell of a sales pitch and they're $100 cheaper, hypothetically saying, guess what, dude? I'm going Xbox because I have 300 games I'm not leaving behind.
Well, that's the thing. I've got like 600 games I'm bringing with me. All my friends
You're not going anywhere, right?
So my PlayStation is an exclusive machine. That's all it is.
Absolutely.
And to me, this gen, it wasn't worth it. Like a $400 PlayStation, I got 4 games that were, good to me.
Yep.
That's an extra $100 on top of each game. Each of those games was $160, essentially.
Shady, I'm glad you brought that
I'm just
up.
not a fan of doing that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do it again next gen with Sony because they've already come out and said they're making even less games. So if I do get a PlayStation 5, it'll be at the very end of the gen when everything's cheap.
And Shady,
I don't blame you.
I'm glad you said that because this is the way that Microsoft can win this generation coming forward. The fact that there's talk about them not making things back compat on PlayStation, and it's an exclusive only box, at least in your eyes. So most people are like that too, that have PlayStations, that have Xbox, whatever. You buy the PlayStation for the exclusives, right? So if those games aren't back compat, whereas Microsoft is back and pat with their titles and with their next generation, with their third party stuff, like that could be a selling point for them to kind of help swing those people.
Mark Cerny say that it's definitely going to be back compat with PS4? Isn't that
with
that's
the 4?
That
I think
he did. That was part of that whole announcement.
I got 600 on Xbox versus 4 on PlayStation. I'm not concerned about bringing those 4 PlayStation.
Yeah, right. And they're all single player.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I know that I'm not going to be a third-party PlayStation supporter. I'm not.
You're more invested in your Xbox, so of course, that it is what it is.
Well, here's the thing.
Same thing is going to apply to PS5 guys.
Microsoft picked a very bad time to drop the ball on a generation. Like they had so many supporters with the 360, and so many I know went to PS4. They're not going to go back now because we're digital age, and people are going to take their digital games and their controllers and all this crap with them, and it's going to be very hard to get people. Microsoft very much is enticing people. Game Pass is attempting to do that. Hey, you left us, but come back because you're going to get all of our games for $10, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's a good strategy. I just think that it's going to really depend on the pricing points and the difference. Like, they're both 4K 60, but one's $100 more. I don't think people are going to be splitting hairs next gen so much as saying, where's the content? I think content is where people are going to go, okay, well, show me what you guys got. And, in a couple days, Sony has a big banger coming out. And Microsoft, I don't know the last time they had like a banger. You know what I mean? Like, it's been a while. And Gears will be that. And I'm excited for Gears. But you're going to need something a little bit else than that next gen to entice people because they don't believe that Microsoft is anything but Gears, Halo, and Forza at this point, right?
I agree.
Because they haven't proven that yet. Like, that's not me knocking it. This generation, aside from those games, they haven't put any sort of resources or marketing in anything that's not those games. So, to me, they have a lot to prove, but I am excited by what they're going to do this E3. And, if you guys did join us for tonight's show, hey, I don't think it was negative. I think we had great the topics and great discussion, right? I mean, there was nothing super negative, nothing bad. We talked good and bad, Sony, Microsoft, whatever, just gaming, guys, just opinions. Imagine how that works. And just like that, 2 hours up. I'm going to do some outros to get my people out of here on time. One more bill real quick. Ian Finda says the 3 kid will get the cheapest boxes. They want to play their old titles, play it on their old system. I will buy the best box regardless. Least 3 sales. So I buy all of them too. So, hey, like the show while you're at it as well. Maybe get us up to 200 Not sure why everybody was so hesitant. Maybe they thought it was going to be super negative. I don't know. Mooch, what do you got going on?
I've got a lot going on, Crap. How much time you got? To be honest with you, right? How about that?
You're streaming.
I'm streaming, baby.
Yes.
All right.
You sent the damn GIF anyway, even though I was already.
I did. I had to throw a shot before when you're like, "Come on, Mooch." I'm like, "Damn it! I didn't even get find a good one." All right. My point being is this: we've got a great thing going on. We got MNC show tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern time on my channel, the Mooch 78 on YouTube. And then we've got right afterwards. So I made a decision. I didn't get a chance to talk about it today. Crap. I thought you were going to bring up a little bit of the GameStop news. But GameStop's doing some great stuff. They've got the 48-hour change your mind thing, which I'm not going to change my mind, but I'm a big zombie nut. Days Gone comes out tomorrow at midnight, but they're doing a 9 p.m. release Eastern time. So I'll be starting my stream at 10 p.m. on the Mooch 78 on twitch.tv. I'll be streaming Days Gone tomorrow night. And then we have the Crossfire show, of course. Crossfire, lots of yelling on Friday night. 7 p.m. Eastern time, the Mooch 78 again here. Guys, please go over to the channel, subscribe, hit the button, hit the bell, hit all those little funky buttons on the bottom. Do your thing. Do your due diligence. Thank you, Crap.
Do your
Hell
thing.
yeah.
Right? Thank you.
Exactly. We also got XBot448. What do you got going on, my friend?
Man, as usual, I will be there Friday for Crossfire. I am there every week. I think I am probably... Besides Mooch, I'm probably one of the most stable people on the panel, and you, Crap, by the way, and you. But other than that, on my channel, yes, people, I do have a channel on YouTube. It's called XBot448. We do have the next podcast this Saturday, 7 p.m. Last week was absolute fire. We had Hood News Media. We had Slow-Mo Backslap. We had a great show. So definitely tune in this Saturday. It's just going to be another fire episode. It's what we do, man. It's what we do.
Heck yeah, man. Great to have you along. So Shady is back. What's going on, man? What do you got going on this week, bro?
This week, other than being here, of course, and again next week, every Wednesday on Xbox Nation, I'm on Breakfast with Boom with Mr. Boomstick XL. But this week, we're taking a week off this week because of the whole Avengers thing. Boom and his brother are going crazy early in the morning. They got a whole day planned, so we're just.
I heard Boom is dressing up like Captain Marvel, by the way. So.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. It could be Captain Marvel, Captain America, any of them, all of them. Boom is a super fan, man. I got tickets for early Sunday morning myself, so I'm hyped for that. But
I might go to the drive-in to catch it.
Oh, the drive-in. Ours blew up in an oil explosion years ago in my city. We don't have a drive-in anymore. Yeah, man. Some oil refinery blew up, ruined the whole thing. My childhood. Fucked. I miss it. I miss it. But, yes, you can find me here every Wednesday. You can find me on Breakfast with Boom every Friday. On Twitter, I am So Shady at the Sesh Empire. On Xbox, I'm So Shady. Thanks for spending your time with us, everybody. Happy gaming. See you next week.
Yes, and we also had Noximus back, who did a kick-ass job, man. Thank you so much for joining us. What do you got going on this week, man?
Yo, man, not a problem, Crap, bro. It's always great, man. Great panel, great chat. Awesome, man. In Nox We Trust right here on YouTube. Coming back soon. I'm going to try to get something, man. I'm about to put in this 11 right now. So it is what it is. 11 to 11, put in this 12-hour shift. So I'm going to do that. But it is coming soon. You can catch me on the next podcast with Pred and XBot and the whole fam over there on Saturdays. And at DNox on Twitter, man.
Awesome, man. Really appreciate it. And joining us late, but always awesome edition, Predator. What do you got going on?
God, I have no fucking clue from week to week. I got the last minute invite to this show, and I know you sent it before, but I didn't see it. But I'm happy to be here, man. Thanks for the invite, and glad I was able to jump on topics. Next podcast Saturdays, and God knows what else this week. So
no, you killed it, man. I always appreciate it, man. And hopefully Foxy comes back next week. I know she's like on vacation and stuff, so we really appreciate you guys coming out. We'll catch you guys next time. Like I said, MNC tomorrow, Crossfire Friday. Catch you later. Have a great night. Peace.
Fred.